The Toronto Raptors preseason continued last night with a 134-93 victory over Australian side, the Karens. I can't even pronounce the team name. But that's not what we're here to talk about, Noor Zainab. We're here to talk about the NBA.
True?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
wow.
Monday, okay?
Yeah. You
I had a rough weekend, okay? I just want to get in, talk about the NBA Western Conference because there's a whole lot of juicy storylines in the West this year. We broke down the East. We agreed a whole lot on the East, actually, which was very surprising. And today, we're going to go with your method. We're going to go 1-6.
Yeah,
because apparently there's a big problem going
method.
6-1. I thought we were building suspense, and apparently the suspense fizzled
Where is
out.
the suspense if you know the top two teams in the East Conference anyway? It's the 3-6. You're like, oh, I wonder who's gonna be ending up here. That's the juicy part.
I was
Justin.
thinking from
That's
like
why
I was thinking about it from a
but it's okay.
cinematic.
I think we're good now. Now you can continue.
I was thinking about it from a cinematic point of
But
view.
we're doing 1-6. But cinematically,
Yeah.
you go towards the side where there's more climax. Climax was going to be 1-6, not 6-1, because you know who 1 and 2 were going to be. You didn't know who 3 and 6 were going to be.
You know what? You live in.
Doesn't
You know what?
explain
You know what?
this to
People. You know what? People in life. You live. You laugh. You learn. You grow.
Wrong.
I'm wrong.
You were wrong.
Okay.
But okay.
So we're gonna go 1-6 now. The Denver Nuggets, the defending champs, won the Western Conference last year. The Memphis Grizzlies surprised everybody with the second seed and fizzled out in the playoffs. So Noor, you go first. This year, which team will win the West?
I'm going to have to say the Nuggets.
Again.
Yeah, because they've been consistently very good. I think they figured out the formula of keeping your team good together in the regular season, like maintaining the wins throughout when you don't really have a lot at stake, but they can kind of maintain that and then also accelerate that in the playoffs. So they've kind of figured out the formula. They do this year after year, and I think this year shouldn't be any different, especially because now you've got the champ badge that you want to defend oh so badly. So I think this season they're gonna want to make a stand immediately, and especially now with the NBA in-season tournament, I think it's super important because you're no longer looking at the league entirely as like, oh, the first 3 months are kind of just, it is what it is. Like, we'll really start to focus once the NBA trade deadline, the All-Star stuff comes around. But I think now you have another accolade to add to your shoulder. You have another way to, even just like create your narrative to be like, yes, we were the best team at the end of the season, but also we were the best team in the beginning of the season because we were so good in the NBA in-season tournament. So I think that's going to help their motivation factor because I don't think we doubt the fact that they should be, if not top 1, at least top 2 or top 3. But it's just, would you be motivated to want to continue to be regular season domination as well?
Yeah.
Because we saw that with the Bucks. The Bucks were just like they kind of took their foot off the gas pedal. They were like, we've been winning every single playoffs. Like we keep pulling in the numbers in the regular season, but let's just coast through and make sure that we're healthy for the playoffs itself. But I think the Nuggets have just been consistently good that way in the season and postseason.
Yeah. Look, it's not a bad choice at all, right? I'm kind of worried about, will there be a bit of a championship hangover though? Right? They won the championship. They validated all that regular season success that you mentioned that they had. Do they fall into that category like we won a title already? We just want to be healthy for the playoffs, right? Because they have guys that have injury problems with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
I see what you're saying, but then at the same time, I don't think that would be a valid concern just because when FIBA World Cup was happening, you saw Jokic did not play for Serbia. Jamal Murray did not play for Canada, and that was because they were prioritizing their defending run coming into this year. So I think they actually spent the summer making sure that they were kind of going to come into this new season kind of guns a-blazing.
Well, Nikola Jokic had a great summer apparently back home in Serbia with the horses and all that stuff. So, he's going to come back in happy. And he's not happy to be there because he wants to be back in Serbia. But, okay, so you're going to go Nuggets. I'm going to go with the Phoenix Suns. Okay? I think the new rules of the 65 games that stars have to play to qualify for certain things, that's going to help the Suns because Kevin Durant before in Brooklyn never really got a chance to play with Kyrie Irving and James Harden. They never built that chemistry. That is what I'm most looking forward to this season. From the start of the season, the Phoenix Suns will be intact, and of course, barring any injury. But I believe that the Suns can build a lot of chemistry with Booker and Beal and KD. And I think this is really going to help them throughout the season. I think with Frank Vogel as a new head coach, this is going to be something that will be very important. The regular season has to matter to the Phoenix Suns because they have to want to build that chemistry with 3 superstars that are
Yeah.
taking the court at the same time. So I believe that the Phoenix Suns will take the regular season very, very seriously, and I think they're going to win the Western Conference, and I think they're going to win it kind of easily compared to everybody else, because it means so much more to them than the other
Well, I think
contenders.
they did so much to bring on the roster that they have now that a lot's kind of riding on it. But that's also why I would take them second.
So
They're my second
perfect
choice.
segue
Yeah,
right there. Look at
exactly.
that. That's
I take
showbiz right
them-
there, people.
Yeah, thanks. It's because of me. Anyway, so I take them second because you mentioned all those things where, yes, you have all these powerhouses and you'd be concerned about the role of the point guard, but they kind of got that covered with the Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal is obviously used to shooting first, but when you're surrounded by guys like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, you might be looking to pass a little bit as well. So I think they got themselves covered in all areas. My only concern would just be it's a new team. These are new guys. It's their first time playing together all together. I know that Book and Kevin Durant have obviously had their runs and we saw them be successful through it. Like they were putting up big numbers offensively, but I think just the chemistry of everything is going to take a little bit longer. Like the regular season will cause them to have tests, which in the playoffs, I think they'll be able to overcome, because then you have 82 games under your belt. But I think because of that in the regular season, they will take a couple of hits where other teams who've had their chemistry, who've had their rosters figured out for years prior, might have the upper hand. But I think this is a team that you're going to have to watch out for in the playoffs. Absolutely. Like Devin Booker, you had Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal on one team. Talk about a superstar three. That's crazy.
That's what's the big three in the Valley. My second seed, it might surprise people. I think it's going to be the Sacramento Kings.
The Nuggets.
Oh. Yeah, no. Yeah. It's the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. It's the Kings.
Nuggets are not 1 or 2 for you.
Don't worry. I'll get to the Nuggets.
I know. I'm just
worry.
Whoa. I'm just
we know.
the defending champs.
We know how like tough and stacked the West is, but I think the Sacramento Kings, again, because they're a young team that I could see them following the same trajectory as the Denver Nuggets did. The Denver Nuggets were bad for a few years, and then what do? They prioritize regular season success. They play a fast, up-tempo game that's very perfect for this NBA, right? Another year with De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, right? Malik Monk. I believe that this team is gonna really push full pedal to the metal, in the regular season. I think they're going to go full throttle. And again, I think this is going to be very, very close. I think from the 2nd seed to the 10th seed, again, like last year, it's going to be very, very close. But I think the Sacramento Kings are going to prioritize the regular season, prioritize trying to get home court advantage again, because we know, light the damn beam. We don't know if they're going to light the beam again this year, but I think the Sacramento Kings are going to take the regular season very seriously, and I think they will finish off as the 2nd seed.
Crazy.
Hey.
I respect it, but I do find it a little nuts because there's so many other teams, as we know. But you're not wrong in that, because I've been kind of struggling to figure out who my third would be. And there's so many deserving teams out there, but I think I might have to give the edge to the Warriors actually at number 3. And that's actually because of their addition with Chris Paul. It takes so much, just so much playmaking off of Steph Curry. It gives him the ball. It gives him the flexibility to kind of go and have the ball find him, as opposed to just running the ball constantly. When you have someone like Chris Paul who can put you in the right positions to get the best out of you, which we've seen him do with Devin Booker, with DeAndre Ayton, time and time again. Like, there's a joke going around, like, you see Chris Paul's leadership in other people's scoreboards. That's how everything gets amounted to when it comes to Chris Paul. So I think that's going to be a low-key addition, because I know people might not be expecting big things to come out of someone like Chris Paul, who's like aging at this point. But I think having a team like this, the Warriors, who are so well put together, they have the chemistry of not just the championship, but just like of years of working together with the same head coach, almost the same core, kind of the same guys coming off the bench, and they're young guys as well, that if you add another veteran like Chris Paul, I think that elevates your chances to maintain how good you'll be. But now that will just depend on how healthy you're able to be, with obviously Klay Thompson, also Steph Curry, and then definitely Chris Paul. But that's why I gave them the edge here, because I just wouldn't trust a young team like the Kings just
Okay,
yet. Even though they're great. I just wouldn't trust them.
See, the reason why you think the Warriors are going to finish number 3 is the reason why I'm worried about them this season. Because you're taking the ball out of Steph Curry's hands.
Yeah, but
right?
you're giving it to somebody who's...
You're giving it to Chris Paul, again, one of the best
good
point
with the
guards
ball.
of all time, right?
Yes.
But that system is... that system is so predicated around Steph Curry and the ball being in his hands, right? And it's going to be an adjustment period, right? That, to me, I think we saw this team, again, also there's health, too. Is Klay Thompson going to be healthy the full season?
I did mention
Steph?
that, yes.
You did mention that again. But
health is everywhere, right?
that is everywhere, right? But for me, the thing is, how does Chris Paul fit into this system? How does he fit into this system that's been the best in the last 10 years, right?
I think pretty well. Like I said, like he lets Steph Curry be a shooting guard. He lets Steph Curry be on the perimeter, just be a predator. Like, and when you have someone like Chris Paul, again, like Chris Paul having the ball doesn't mean that he's just gonna shoot it. It means he's gonna find the guys who are open to get the best shot. And sometimes those guys might not be Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Those guys might end up being the third or fourth guys on the team. So that also means that you end up giving Steph Curry a lot of the distraction, the defenders on him, and that gets your other guys open. But that's the kind of court vision that only Chris Paul would be able to see. So I think I'm not going to put past anything that Chris Paul would be able to do with this team just because I think his veteran status has earned us that kind of belief in him.
Okay, I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
Does Chris Paul finish the season with the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah.
I think they trade him at the deadline and they get a better...
I think if anyone's going to go, that's Dre.
We just signed a new deal.
Because he'll trade him.
In January, though.
Depends who you want to get.
I
It depends on their height, though. They need a little bit of height, especially if you're going to go against some people like Jokic and Steven Adams. And I guess even like Clippers are a pretty tall team as well.
Yeah.
And Warriors are kind of on the smaller side if you look at the rest of the Western Conference now,
I think the
right?
biggest guy on their team is what? It might be Draymond. No. Rudy Gay is 6'8". So that's what I'm saying. Like, when I look at the Warriors, I don't know. I think they just wanted to get rid of Jordan Poole to ease the tensions in the locker room, and they had to take on Chris Paul, right? But I could see them, you know what they did with D'Angelo Russell. Remember they acquired D'Angelo Russell. We were like, I don't know if it's going to fit, and they move him at the deadline to Minnesota.
It's going to depend on the fit for sure.
And
but I think like, sorry, not to cut you off.
It's okay. I just want to say this. Chris Paul will not finish the season with the Golden State Warriors.
I want to say this. Chris Paul will finish the season with the
Okay,
Golden State
well,
Warriors.
there you go.
You heard it here first.
Whose turn is it now? It's my turn, right?
I said my 3, yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets for all the reasons you mentioned before. Jokic, Murray, MPJ, all that, defending champs. I think they take a little step back because of the championship hangover, but they'll be the number 3 seed.
Okay, number 4 for myself, I'm going to go with the Memphis Grizzlies. I think as much as I did not like them taking on Marcus Smart, I do think it's definitely an upgrade from what they've had before. And Marcus Smart, you guys might not like him, you might not love him, but I know Grizzlies fans are not going to love him as one of their own because he's the kind of guy that you love him when he's on your team, but you'd hate him when he's going to be competing against you because he does all the little things. He makes the right plays, makes the right passes, puts his body on the line, and defensively, he does what he needs to do. So I think that pairing with everybody else around him and all the younger guys, like he could be their mentor. He's been there. He's had those playoff runs continuously. And as great as the Grizzlies have been, I think they kind of need that level of leadership. I know Steven Adams is there, but he doesn't really give me leadership vibes where I get that from Marcus Smart. Like Marcus Smart demands, respect. He demands to have a little bit of a voice in the locker room. So I can see that going well for all of them. And I think Ja needs that. Ja needs someone who will
LeBron and Derrick Rose as well, too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, would not talk about Derrick Rose and his leadership styles because I would not want to be led by Derrick Rose. But in terms of just keeping guys like Ja Morant in line, you need someone like Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart will let you know, do not go to the club tonight, Ja. You're coming to friggin' practice with me and we're getting shots up.
Number 4 for me is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh my God, of course.
There's nothing to really do with LeBron, right?
Sure.
LeBron's going to be consistent. It's what the Lakers did in the offseason to bring back Austin Reeves, to have that continued continuity for a team that went to the Western Conference Finals, right? I think the Los Angeles Lakers are going to carry on that. They played great after the trade deadline last year. Remember, they got hot. They went carry on into the playoffs. Anthony Davis, we think, maybe will be healthy. But I believe that the Los Angeles Lakers will be the number 4 seed because of the continuity they've had from last year.
I don't see. I don't know, because I think as much as like they're a good team, they've got the good pieces. They're led by LeBron James. Like he might not be the LeBron that he used to be years prior, year ago, but he's still someone who demands attention, demands respect, demands you to focus your defense on him. But I just don't know if they have the pieces to kind of tackle the super houses, the powerhouses. Sorry,
Superhouses.
This
Sounds like Harry
powerhouses.
Potter.
Oh my
The
God, stop.
superhouses.
The powerhouse in the Western Conference, because AD, Anthony Davis, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to contribute? What's his level of commitment going to look like? How much is he going to put his body on the line? And how much is he going to just kind of focus on the fact of keeping himself healthy throughout the season? And LeBron can't do it alone. We know this.
Yep.
Even if he wanted to, in this Western Conference, he cannot do it alone. So I don't know if I see that, but I respect it. But I don't know if I see it. It's okay. I get it. So we're number 5 now, right? Clippers.
See, you got on me for the Lakers, but you're going Clippers.
But it's a legitimate thing. They've got Kawhi Leonard. They've
For how
got
long?
Paul George. They've got Russell Westbrook. What do you mean for how long? They've got Norman Powell. They have a lot more consistent offensive talent than the Lakers
You mentioned
do, Justin.
consistent and talked about Kawhi Leonard in the same sentence.
Are you kidding me? When he's on the court, he's giving you consistent
That's
buckets.
a very big when. Capital W, capital A.
If
capital
he's
E.
on the court, he's giving you consistent buckets. Consistently. The best player on the court if he's on the court. Yes, it's getting him on the court. I understand that. But I think, as we know, the CBA changes, all that stuff is going to change a lot of things this coming season. And the teams are just not going to have the flexibility anymore. You're going to have to play more than one superstar. At least one of them has to play. So you decide between Paul George and
Kawhi has already
Leonard.
made it very clear he doesn't care for the new rules.
But he's going to have to abide
We'll
by them
see.
because
We'll
everyone's
see.
going to have to. So it's going to be Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, whoever it is. I know they're going to be coming through. But if it's them together, even better. You got Norman Powell, who can also contribute offensively. You have Russell Westbrook, who does what he needs to do, and defensively you need that energy. You need someone to just kind of like bring the energy for everybody else too. So I think they're due a good spot in the Western Conference.
Okay.
Like they've had this. Clippers aren't cursed though, by the way. Like
That's why I'm saying you can't trust
They've
them.
had such a good roster for so long that I look at it and I'm like, how am I supposed to not favor you? But just because nothing comes to fruition, you're just supposed to be like, you know what, maybe not. But I'm gonna go with it one more time, one more year. Insanity is what they call it, and just see if the Clippers can somehow put it together and just be in the, I mean, they're in a playoff race, but just be in a.
Yeah, it was the top 5 seed in the
5.
West. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. I'm gonna go with the Golden State Warriors.
They were 5 last year too, Clippers.
Yeah, but like think about how close it was last year. Like from like seed, was it seed?
Yeah, they were pretty
5
much
to-
tied with the Warriors.
Yeah, like it was close. It's gonna be like that again this year, right? I'm gonna go with the Golden State Warriors to finish number 5. I think the biggest reason they might have a little bit of issues in the regular season because of that Chris Paul thing that I mentioned before. Again, Steph and Clay and Draymond will get you there, but I'm worried about their depth. Can a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, can Moses Moody take that next step? And how does the whole Chris Paul situation fit? That to me is the biggest question for the Golden State Warriors. I do expect there to be a bit of a rocky beginning, and I think that's going to lead them to trade Chris Paul to try to get some more depth across their roster.
I hope not. I think it's a good fit, but we'll see. We'll see how the fit looks
your
like.
sixth
And
seed?
then number 6, I'm gonna go with the Kings here.
Wow,
I wish
big
they
fall.
were. I wish they were higher, but I just think the rest of the teams kind of got better, and they were also in a funk where there were injuries happening all last season. I mean, we saw the Grizzlies improved as well, just in a roster way. Same with the Warriors, in my opinion, in a roster way. So I think this is like easily the Kings can surpass the 6th seed. Definitely, they finished 3rd last year.
Yep.
They can surpass that, no problem. But it's just watching a young system work together. I think I would just trust the veteran leaderships and the veteran teams more.
Okay.
But I think they can still surpass all these teams as well. So don't listen to what I have to say.
Listen to what I have to say
This
about
is-
my 6th seed.
No, they're both gonna change. Like a week into the NBA
Absolutely, yeah. I'm
season.
just gonna change it tomorrow probably.
Warriors gonna be like dead last or something. We'll be like,
No.
oh shit.
No Warriors might win the whole thing.
Gonna have to come on talk about the Jokic Thunder probably.
Perfect
down.
segue, Noor, because my 6th seed is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay, you're talking about them right now. All right.
I really want to say the Oklahoma City Thunder could be a top 4 team in the Western Conference. I really think they have the potential to do that because they're young. Chet Holmgren's back. They're led by our guy, Canadian, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Hear me out, Noor. I think it's a big if the Oklahoma City Thunder can get to the 4 seed, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win the MVP. He's going to win the MVP. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might win MVP this year.
I just think it's crazy you took OKC over Clippers.
Why?
I don't know.
Where's your Canadian pride? Huh?
You're talking to me about Canadian pride?
The best player in Canada.
I know. I don't know. I don't know.
Chet's back. Lou Dort, led by Shai. Shai might lead the league in scoring this year.
Okay, but they're like the baby.
But they were the babies before.
Compared to everybody else.
Remember what happened when they had young KD, young Russ, young Harden, young
I know.
Ibaka.
I think the pattern
it's happening
here today,
again, ladies and gentlemen.
Today is that you're siding with the young squad, and I'm going with the oldies, the OGs. So.
But we know oldies like to take it easy and rest and take it. The young guys are fresh. They're hungry. They want to prove the world wrong. That is why teams like the Sacramento Kings are going to finish number 2. The Thunder are going to be a top 6 seed. And Shai might well win MVP this season. That is all the time we have for today on Hoop Talks. We'll be back later on this week to talk some more Raptors and the rest of the NBA.